What's up, YouTube? We got another little project today. Since I went long travel with this truck and did a lot of work with the tubbing in here to fit the 35s. If you work on first gens, you know that the wiper tank actually sits right here and pokes up right there through the engine bay here, and it looks like that. So what's the solution? Most people would say that, you know, you don't really need a wiper tank, but until you do, you get into a situation, maybe mud flies on your windshield, or there's like dust and stuff that you're trying to get off. That's when you realize you really need it. So anyway, while I was working on my 96 Tacoma, I noticed the wiper tank is actually really tiny. And I checked to see if the motor that comes from the Tundra fits on this guy, and it actually is the same motor. So what I did was I bought this guy off of carparts.com, about $29 I think, or something like that. Transferred the motor over right here, and now I can try to find a good place to install this inside the truck. Being that there's not a lot of space on the driver's side, the only space I have left is over here on the passenger side. My intake here, installed by the previous owner, I didn't choose this guy, has a heat shield. It takes up a lot of room, and I don't think I'm going to be too worried about too much heat being drawn in from this side, because you can see there's massive holes here and down here where the air is being drawn in anyway. So I'm going to probably use this space right here to mount the wiper tank. So we're going to take off this shield real quick and then see where we can mount that. All right, so we got the heat shield off. Put the intake filter back on just to see where it's going to sit, and I think this is going to be a perfect spot for it right here. Okay, so I'm going to use this existing hole right here, and I don't know if you can see where I marked on the top there, but that's where I want it to sit. My only concern is if the hood's gonna close. So if that's not gonna work, then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put an alternate hole right there, and that's where it's gonna sit instead, like that, just slightly below, like this. So I made the holes there with the step drill. This makes it a lot easier. And then I'm just gonna do a test fit right now and see if the hood closes, and then that'll be where it's gonna live. So looks like the hood does close okay. I didn't hear any rattling right now. I ran the engine for a little bit. So I'm gonna put the stripping back on here, bolt this back in, and then one thing, if you're doing this, here's the sensor right here. Just make sure you connect that sensor before you bolt it on too tight, or else you're not going to be able to get to it. So, and then after that, we're going to fill it up and test it out. All right, so before I bolt this fully on, I just wanted to show that I put the weather stripping back on. I connected the sensor down here. I actually was able to use one of the holes for the these holders for the wire down there, if you can see it right here. And then the hose here from the pump, I reconnected it back to the actual wiper blades and whatnot, so on the motor, I mean. So yeah, I'm gonna bolt this up and then zip tie this last little edge because the tab broke off, and then we should be able to test this. All right, we got some fluid in it. Time for the test. All right, guys, moment of truth. Oh yeah, it works. Nice. All right, so that concludes the install. Good to go. I'm gonna give this filter a clean too, since I'm down here. Yeah, follow the Dirtbag Garage on Instagram, Dr. Omiz on Instagram, so that's Dr_OMIZ. And then yeah, subscribe to my channel if you can, and give it a like. Thanks.